Welcome back to the Artificial Intelligence News Network podcast. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a story that's developing right now in the AI world.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Apple's facing some hurdles, bringing their new AI, Apple Intelligence, to the Chinese market.
It's a really interesting situation.
Yeah, and it highlights the complexities of developing this cutting-edge technology in a globalized world.
Exactly.
You get this incredible new AI, you're ready to share it with everyone, and then suddenly you run into a wall.
In this case, the Great Wall of China.
Right. So Apple CEO Tim Cook has been making trips to China trying to smooth things over with regulators, and it's not as simple as just getting a product approved.
It's much more complicated than that.
So what's the issue? Why is China being so careful about Apple Intelligence?
Well, it really comes down to understanding the role of the Cyberspace Administration of China, or CAC.
The CAC?
They have a lot of power when it comes to regulating the internet and technology, and especially AI.
Okay, so they're not just looking at whether the AI works, they're looking at the bigger picture.
That's exactly right. They want to ensure that any AI operating in China aligns with their national interests and priorities.
Which may be very different from other countries' approaches.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are Apple's options here? I imagine they really want to tap into that massive Chinese market.
Absolutely. They've got two main paths they could take.
Okay.
One is to partner with a Chinese company that already has an approved AI system.
So like team up with somebody who already knows the lay of the land.
Yeah, exactly. It would probably be the faster way to get Apple Intelligence into the hands of Chinese users.
That makes sense.
But there's a trade-off.
Oh.
By partnering, Apple may have to share control over their technology, potentially even some of the data their AI collects.
Ah, so it's not just about speed, it's about autonomy as well.
Right.
What's the other option?
Well, the other option is to go it alone and try to get Apple Intelligence approved independently.
Okay.
That way they maintain full control, but it could be a much longer and more complicated process.
So it's like choosing between a shortcut with some compromises or a longer journey with more independence.
That's a really great way to put it. It's a tough decision, and it really shows how these companies have to balance their business goals with the reality of these different regulatory environments.
And I know we've been focusing on Apple, but this isn't just an Apple story, is it?
No, not at all.
This is much bigger.
Apple's situation is a really good example of these broader challenges and opportunities that come with developing AI on a global scale.
So every country is figuring out how to approach this new technology.
Yeah.
And the stakes are incredibly high.
Oh, they are.
Whoever leads in AI has the potential to shape the future of everything.
Industries, economies, even just how we live our lives.
Right. And China is determined to be a major player in this AI revolution.
They are.
Companies like Baidu, Tencent, Alibaba, they're all pouring resources into AI research and development.
Huge amounts of resources.
It's like a global race to see who can harness the power of AI most effectively.
It really is.
And it's not just about the technology itself.
No. It's about the values and priorities that get baked into these AI systems.
Absolutely. And different countries might have very different ideas about how AI should be used and regulated.
That's a fascinating point. So Apple's trying to navigate this complex landscape, and they're not alone.
Yeah, no,
All other tech giants are grappling with these same issues.
absolutely. Remember Google just recently launched their Gemini AI app for iPhones?
Right?
That's a clear sign that competition in the AI space is really heating up.
Yeah, it feels like every company is trying to capture users' attention and turn them into loyal subscribers.
That's right.
To their platform.
It's all about building that compelling user experience.
Right.
They're vying to offer the most personalized features, the most seamless integration, the most intuitive AI assistant.
And that's where things get really interesting.
They do.
Because the power of AI to personalize these experiences also raises questions about privacy and data control.
That's
and
indeed.
especially in a place like China. That's a crucial point. The more AI learns about us, the more it can tailor our digital experiences.
Right.
But we also have to consider the ethical implications of this level of personalization.
Yeah,
You know, it's a balancing act for sure.
it is.
How do we embrace this incredible potential of AI while also safeguarding our privacy and autonomy? That's a conversation we need to be having as a society.
It really does feel like we're at a crossroads.
Yeah,
And the decisions that we make now are going to have really long-lasting consequences.
exactly. And it's not just about, individual choices.
Right.
Governments and regulators play a crucial role in shaping the AI landscape. Think about the laws and regulations that are being developed right now.
Yeah.
They're going to determine how AI is used and developed for years to come.
That's a great point. So Apple is facing this like multi-layered challenge.
They are.
They're trying to innovate, they're trying to compete in this global market, and they're trying to navigate all these different regulatory environments.
And let's not forget the cultural differences.
Right.
What works in one country might not work in another.
For sure.
The way people interact with technology, their expectations of privacy, their trust in companies,
Right.
these all factor into how AI is perceived and adopted.
You know, it's funny, as we're talking about this, I can't help but think about that quote that we saw
Yeah.
about WeChat's AI
Oh, yeah.
predicting what users want before they even know it themselves.
That's a perfect example of how AI is blurring the lines between personalization and prediction.
Right.
It's fascinating and unsettling at the same time.
It is. On the one hand, it's amazing to have technology that can like anticipate our needs
Yeah,
and make our lives easier.
right.
But on the other hand, it really does raise some questions about, are we losing control over our own choices?
Imagine an AI that knows your shopping habits so well
Right.
that it starts ordering things for you before you even realize you need them.
Wow.
Is that convenient or is that creepy?
It's a little bit of both.
It is.
I think it comes down to transparency and control.
I think so too.
Like, as long as users understand how their data is being used and they have the ability to opt out or set boundaries, then AI personalization can be a really positive force.
I agree. It's all about finding that sweet spot between innovation and user empowerment.
So as we kind of wrap up our deep dive into Apple's AI adventure in China, what are some of the key takeaways for our listeners?
Yeah.
What do you think people should be paying attention to?
Well, I think the first takeaway is that AI is no longer just a futuristic concept.
Right.
It's here, it's evolving very, very rapidly, and it's having a real impact on businesses and economies and societies around the world.
It's not just about, cool gadgets and futuristic robots.
Yeah,
This is about how we live and work and interact with each other.
exactly. And the second takeaway is that the development and adoption of AI is not happening in a vacuum.
Right.
It's influenced by political, economic, and cultural factors.
Yeah.
Different countries are approaching AI in very different ways, and that's creating both opportunities and challenges for companies like Apple.
Like a global chess game
Yeah.
with everybody trying to figure out their next move.
That's a great analogy. And the third takeaway is that AI is raising all of these important ethical questions that we need to address as a society. Questions about privacy bias, transparency, and the potential impact on jobs and human autonomy.
Yeah, these aren't easy questions, but they're questions we can't afford to ignore.
We can't.
So what can our listeners do to stay ahead of the curve in this rapidly evolving AI landscape?
Well, first and foremost, stay curious. Read articles, listen to podcasts like this one, and follow thought leaders in the AI space.
Yeah, it's all about keeping your finger on the pulse of what's happening.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge assumptions, and think critically about the information you're consuming.
It's like we always say, knowledge is power. The more we understand about AI, the better equipped we'll be to navigate the changes that are coming.
And remember, AI is not just something that's happening to us.
Yeah.
We have the power to shape its development and use. Our choices, our voices, our actions, they all matter.
That's a really good point. It's not about being passive observers.
No.
It's about being active participants in shaping the future of AI.
And that's an exciting prospect. We have the opportunity to harness the power of AI for good, to solve pressing problems, to create new possibilities, and to build a better future for ourselves and generations to come.
That's a great message of hope and empowerment
It is.
that I think we can all embrace.
Absolutely. AI is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
Right.
It's up to us to ensure that it's used responsibly and ethically.
And that starts with education and awareness and a willingness to engage in an open and honest dialogue about the challenges and opportunities that AI presents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as we continue to explore this fascinating world of AI, let's remember that we're all in this together.
We are.
We have the collective power to shape the future of this technology and ensure that it benefits all of humanity.
That's a really powerful and inspiring message.
It is.
It's been a fascinating deep dive today, exploring this intersection of AI globalization and the balance between innovation and regulation.
Yeah, one thing that keeps coming back to me is how Apple's experience in China is like this microcosm of the larger AI landscape.
It is.
It really highlights the tensions and opportunities that exist as this technology becomes more and more integrated into our world.
Absolutely. It's like we're looking through a magnifying glass at a single story
Yeah.
and seeing all these global trends reflected back at us.
Exactly. And it's a reminder that The future of AI isn't being shaped in isolation.
Right.
This is a global conversation,
It is.
a collaborative effort
Yeah.
involving governments, companies, researchers, everyday citizens.
And speaking of collaborative efforts, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the role of partnerships in AI development.
Okay.
We talked about, Apple potentially partnering with a Chinese company.
Yeah.
But this idea extends far beyond that specific situation.
That's a great point. Partnerships are going to be absolutely crucial in the AI landscape moving forward. Think about it. AI requires massive amounts of data,
Right.
computational power, and expertise. Not every company or country has all of those resources just readily available.
So it makes sense to pool resources and collaborate to accelerate that AI development.
Exactly. And partnerships can also help to bridge the gap between these different perspectives and approaches. You might have a company in Silicon Valley
Right.
with cutting-edge technology, but they might not fully understand the cultural nuances of a market like China.
So by partnering with a local company, they can gain those insights and navigate those complexities more effectively.
Exactly. It's about combining strengths and perspectives to create something greater than the sum of its parts.
It seems like these partnerships could also play a role in addressing some of the ethical concerns surrounding AI.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, for example, if you have a company that's really focused on data privacy,
Right.
collaborating with a company that's developing a really powerful AI algorithm,
Yeah.
they can work together to build those privacy protections into the system right from the ground up.
That's a great example. Collaboration can really lead to more responsible and ethical AI development.
Yeah.
When you have these diverse voices and perspectives at the table, you're much more likely to anticipate potential problems and address them proactively.
It all comes back to dialogue and open communication.
It does.
We need to be having these conversations about the potential benefits, the risks of AI, how to regulate it effectively, and how to make sure that it's being used for good.
And these conversations need to be happening at all levels.
They do.
Among policymakers, industry leaders, researchers, the general public AI is going to impact all of our lives, so we all need to be a part of shaping its future.
It's not about being afraid of AI or trying to stop its progress.
No.
It's about being informed, engaged, and proactive in guiding its development in a direction that benefits humanity.
And ultimately, I believe that AI has the potential to be a force for good in the world.
I think so too.
It can help us solve some of our most pressing challenges,
Right.
from climate change to disease to poverty.
It can empower us to be more creative, more productive, more connected.
It can help us understand ourselves and the universe around us in new and profound ways.
But to realize this potential, we need to approach AI with a sense of responsibility,
Yeah.
a commitment to ethical principles, and a willingness to collaborate and share knowledge.
That's the key to unlocking the transformative power of AI and ensuring that it leaves a positive legacy for generations to come.
Well, it has been an incredible deep dive today. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and expertise with us.
Oh, it's been my pleasure.
And to our listeners,